Hi guys, how are you all today? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me. Give me love, whatever you want to give me today. Give me something. Good to see you all. Tell everybody where you're from. You never know. You might be softwaring next to somebody near you. Um, so anyhow, good to see you all on the official Tuesday. Two. All so we should all be wearing tutus. I'm not sure, but the official Tuesday is today, so that's kind of fun. Never know when that comes around. Unfortunately, we probably won't see 33333. Don't think. So, hey Caroline, how are you today? Hi Trisha, good to see you. Hi Lisa, good to see you. All right, guys. So, not a lot of people sent in any questions today, so I am going to answer the ones that come in. That came in, and I'll answer on here, but I'm going to start with P Design 11 and how to emboss lines. Okay, I was going to update the stream and tell you what I was thinking of today, but I couldn't get in. It wouldn't let me change it because it was too soon into the time. So, oh, Lois, I'm so glad I'm not in Wisconsin today. Unfortunately, we have nice thunderstorms happening today, but I am so glad I am not in Michigan or in Wisconsin. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Uh, Very warm Southwest Georgia. It is actually quite nice here today. It is 61 degrees, but not a very warm, but it's nice and rainy. Uh, so
It's currently raining at 59 degrees.
and Siri's telling me that it's currently raining and 59 degrees. I didn't talk to Siri, so I'm not real sure how that came on. So, yay, you got P Design 11 coming on. Cool. Hi, Mellow. How do I say your name? Mellowies? Well, it's good that you could join us today, and it's your first time with Facebook. Woohoo! Cool beans. All right. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Tana. You all look like you all are having much more pretty weather than we are here down there in Florida. I'm a little envious. I'll have to be honest, a little envious. Debbie, you've got 80 degrees. I'm extremely envious. And you're expecting old man winter to return to March. So yeah, in the South, it's kind of one of those you can experience all four seasons in a single day. So we can go from 80 degrees to 20 degrees in the span of 24 hours, which is hysterical. Oh, Louise is your name. Gotcha. So, okay. All right, guys. So let's start over in P Design 11. Let me share my screen. I forgot to set that up. So where is that? There we go. Share screen. Number 2. Here we go. And 72 in Raleigh. Have the storms arrived yet for you guys, Sharon? Because I think they're headed your way once they pass us. Yay, raw. I just love share. Um, what am I trying to say? I just love rainy days. Really, your first time watching live? Well, congratulations. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. And obviously, I have Canvas Workspace up because I just shot an email to somebody asking to find out. And I'm gonna y'all what the thumbs mean on this. Does this mean these are the featured designs today? Because I know that this is not a new design, so I'm trying to figure out why I've got thumbs there today. Just things that make you go, right? Okay, so how to emboss a line in a stitch was the question that was sent in today. And I know we have talked about this before, but we'll go ahead and do it with text. So I'm just going to put in the word grateful. And we're going to make this really, really big. And you can, any of the built-in fonts and any of your TrueType fonts, you can make them any size you want them to be. They do need to fit in a hoop, so I'm going to rotate my hoop so that it will fit in there. But when you get too big, these satin stitches can start to get too long and get ugly. So let's change our color from something to something besides black so y'all can see what's going on. So let's look at it in realistic preview. And you see how that's starting to split up. Now the software automatically knows in P Design that it's a little bit too large, but it will not split it consistently. So if you want to have that letter split down the middle to where the satin stitch is broken up in specific spots, you can do that. I'm going to change it from block to something prettier. Let's make something a little prettier here. Let's see here. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's a good one to have to change. So that gives me a chance to show you a couple of other things. So if you want those letters connected, just so you know, over here where it says kerning, I'm going to change mine to the default spacing. So kerning is your space between your letters. And if you want them to touch, you change your kerning. If you need them to touch more, you decrease that number by putting in a negative number. If you need them to be spaced further apart, you increase that number. If you want it to go back to the default, you can press the house and it goes back to the default. The only one that I think I want to adjust manually is this guy right here. So if I want to adjust him manually, what I can do is click on that little diamond in the center and then left mouse click and drag it. And this is kind of an eyeball activity. So you'll notice, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm taking that little black diamond right there. So I need to be on my select tool. We're going to click on that diamond. Put your cursor to the left or the right side. I'm going to put it to the left, and you get that little A with a line on it. And can you see that little A with a line next to it? That's your left and right. So as you adjust that, it adjusts where it's attaching to the other letter. So you're not going to get that one perfect just simply because of the way that letter is done. But if you wanted to raise it up, if you place your cursor down here at the bottom of the letter, let's change my color so you all may be able to see this a little bit better as well. So you see that little green diamond down there at the bottom? When you do that, you can raise that single letter up and down. So if you wanted to adjust it that way, you could do that as well. I'm going to reset that, which is your vertical offset, back to the default, and we're going to change that color back to the color green so that one letter is not the different color. But let's talk about how to split those letters up. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. You're going to have to do some drawing. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you here. This is not an automatic process, but it is not hard to do. So we're going to grab our shapes tool and we're going to do the open curved shape. And we're going to left click where we think we want this to split. And where you click is where the line bends. So you'll notice how my line is bending there. When you double click, you're done. Okay. So now let's take that line that we just made, hold the control key down and grab the text, go up to stamp and emboss, and we are going to engrave that line. It doesn't matter what you've set those properties to because that line's going to disappear and just be embedded into that text. So you'll notice how that split that satin stitch up. Now, down here at the bottom, it still thinks it needs a little bit more. So you might want to come back in and go at it again down there towards the bottom. So you may want to have 2 lines of splits. Double click. And you can select that text again, that line, select the text, stamp emboss, and engrave that line. And now you'll notice that that stitch did not divide up down there. Same thing would be done through here. And this one you could probably just go with your regular basic line tool and just click where you want it to go. Double click to finish that line segment off. Select it and select the text, home, stamp emboss. Oops, I evidently didn't get them both at the same time. So we want to grab this and this. Let's hit our select tool, stamp emboss, and engrave that line. And that's how that's done. It's not a hard process. It can be done with any design. It can be done with any line. So let's say you had an applique that had a big long satin stitch on it. So let's make us an applique with a big old long satin stitch on it. I'm going to select all this and we're going to delete it. So let's see here. How about we grab a heart? Oh, I forgot I'm not in BES. I'm just left clicking thinking that's going to draw itself. Nope. We're going to go to our applique wizard and I'm going to make a really wide satin stitch. So let's make our satin stitch like 10 millimeters wide. It's going to replace it. So we're going to say, okay. Now I've got a really long satin stitch there. Now for this one, the deal is you must ungroup it before you can do it today. So we're going to right mouse click and we're going to say ungroup. Now let's cheat a little bit. I don't want to have to draw that heart. So I'm going to cheat. Do you see that the first line running is basically the stitch that you would cut. So let's grab that one. We're going to select it, click the select patterns icon, and we're going to say create an offset line. And let's make that go inward. We only need one of them, and let's preview at 5 millimeters. Well, that one's too far in, so let's say, oh no, I think I want it to be 3, and let's see what that does. 3 is about perfect. That's about splitting that right down the center, right? So let's go ahead and say okay. Now you're going to click, I've got a plus sign next to mine. So if you don't see the plus sign, you don't have show by color order on. I took that off so you can see what I'm doing. Now, this is a really long satin stitch. And if I don't want a really long satin stitch, I could actually have that stitch down the center of it. Or I can grab those 2 pieces, click on the select patterns icon, and go to the home tab, because that's where well, why didn't that grab that for me? Oh, because it's overlapping. That's interesting. Okay, so I've never seen it not let me do that. So let's see here. Let's adjust this point. Let's see if we can make this not, I want this point. Give me my applique piece. Oh, I do have my applique piece. Duh. It looked like the same line because I had it right smack dab on the center. So let's see if we can make this to where it's not quite overlapping. And let's see here. Maybe we do this instead. Ooh, no, I don't. I like this. Let's do. And I think the problem is because they are overlapping. Yep, that's it exactly. So see how that little line there is overlapping itself? When that happens, it's not going to let me do that. It's not going to let me stamp and emboss it. So my cheater's trick is not going to work. Let's take that off. Ooh, undo. I moved something. There we go. Get it all the way back to the beginning here. And let's see if we can make this if I go just drawing one. So let's see here if it's truly that issue or not. Obviously, I did not pre-rehearse this part. And let's make that the default so that it doesn't go so wide, and see what happens now. Home. Yes, no. So since those lines are overlapping, it will not let me do that. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, it's live, so you have to learn. So you're learning something every moment. So let's see here if we do something else instead. So let's say we grabbed a shape that's round and we make an applique out of it. We have to ungroup it. And we're going to grab the first piece, click it, click select patterns, go to your home tab, and you can copy and paste. Then we want to go to our, actually we didn't want to copy and paste, we just want to grab that piece. So select it, select patterns, create offset line, and let's go inward again. Let's go 3 millimeters, I believe was what we chose. You can scroll or you can type it. There we go. Click OK, looks perfect. So now let's see if it does it this way. Since we don't have any overlaps, go to our home tab. Interesting. Huh. Well, that should work. So I wonder if it's the fact that it's an applique. So I have an idea. I'm going to select, we're going to select those 3 pieces. We're going to try something. We're going to cut that out. Now let's try it. No. That is very, very weird. So I have never seen it block me out like that. I will have a bunch of stuff to figure out before next week because I thought that was going to be truly simple. So yes, you could do the bean stitch down that center line by doing what I did. You had that big long satin stitch. If you create that offset line to go inward, you could have stitched that out instead of embossing it into it. I just am not real sure why that is telling me that I can't do that unless maybe it's the color choices. Let's see if I change my color choices. Hold on. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, guys. No, that is just bizarre. I do have one other thought. So let's look and see this. Okay, so let me see here. Let's see what happened when I did that offset line. Let me come in, change this color to black so you all can see it. But let's see if we go to our select point tool. Do I have an intersecting point somewhere? If I change that line to a satin, a zigzag, it should show me if I have an intersecting point somewhere. But it does not look like I do. Nope. Is there one on this line? No, that's a pretty straightforward little oval. That's the only thing I can think of is that I've got a point somewhere that's sticking out that's hanging on to another point. So I have one last try. We have one last thing we can test before we go because, as I say, it is all a learning experience. Let's copy this. This is not optimal because it's not going to be in the, it's not going to be exactly proportional. So we're going to copy and paste that one. And then let's shrink it down a little bit. So hold your shift key down and pull it in and let's see if that will work. Select those 2 pieces. Home. No. So something has blocked me out of that. So, okay, I'm stumped. I'll play it. I'll play with it and see what happened. So, yeah, maybe I tried. Maybe I do have to draw it. I shouldn't. I'm not sure what happened to it. So let's skip this and I'll come back to that another day because this is Stump the Cindy Day, evidently. All right. The other question that was sent in was how I've got a purchased applique. It's a blanket stitch and I want it to be a satin stitch. How can I make that happen? This is not always going to work. Just so you know, different appliques are created differently. You never know until you try it. But this is my workaround for that. So you're right. Bless my heart. Right. And when we say that in the South, that's bless my heart. You're silly. No, you're dumb as dirt is what we're actually saying. So anyhow, I will figure that one out for you next week. So let's go in here and grab import. And I created us an applique in BES4. So let me change my orientation here. But in order to replicate this like it would be a purchased applique that you got from somewhere else, I needed to do it somewhere besides PE Design because PE Design always puts the applique placement stitch in a different thing. Okay. So let's zoom out first of all, and we're going to select that design. It's got little squares around it, and that's what we want. In order to make the covering stitches a satin stitch, the first thing you have to do is, since it is in fixed stitch format, you will see the words stitches, stitches at the top on a tab. You're going to click that. At that point, you want to choose divide it by color because we want the different color segments broken down. So let's divide it by color. All right. Now, I'm going to color sort. So this button right here, optimize sewing order, that is my color sort so that I can get down to where I just have my covering stitches. All right. Now, I like to see things grouped by color, so I'm going to do show by color order underneath that zoom menu for the sewing order. And I'm going to grab my covering stitches. So these 3 pieces are my covering stitches. That's what I'm going to grab. Click your select patterns icon. Move your cursor out of the sewing order window and out into that gray space, but don't click anywhere, and press delete on your keyboard. So now your covering stitches are gone. To create the applique stitches, we need to determine which piece it is we need to bring them from. So we actually need to get it from the exterior line, whichever one that happens to be. I happen to know it's the first one. So if I click on the first piece, you can see how it's going to the outside of that. Let's look at the outside of this one. On the very first piece, see how you've got a dash line to the first one and a dash line to the second one? This is the placement stitch. That's what we want. That's the one that would cut. So each of those 2 pieces, these are the interiors. This is the exterior. We want to select both of those and click our select patterns icon. Now, I tried converting to outline. That is not your option. We are going to convert it to blocks. Leave everything at normal settings. And I did not want to convert that. I wanted to copy and paste, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and select those 2 pieces again. It won't kill us to have them both converted blocks. We're going to select those 2 pieces again. We're going to copy and we're going to paste them. So now that whole section is down there at the bottom, and that's what we want. You notice where it says shapes now, since it's no longer in stitch format because we converted it to blocks, you now have your option to change that to a zigzag stitch for your covering stitch, which is your satin stitch. Okay. Do y'all want me to do that one again? Because that's it in a nutshell. It's the matter of you can't convert it to outlines. I learned that. You have to convert that one to blocks. That's a question that I'd never had before. So it was an excellent question, Sandra. And I know you're not watching live today, but I know you're watching the replay. So I will go back and do that one more time. So we're just not going to save that. We're going to pull that design in, double click it. The first thing we're going to do is go to our stitches tab and we are going to divide it by color. Okay. Then we're going to press color sort because that makes everything go in the colors that we want it to be. So then you can take all of your covering stitches. I'm holding my control key while selecting. Click your select patterns icon. Move your cursor out of the sewing order window and into the design area, but don't click anywhere. Press delete on your keyboard. Click the first 2 segments are the ones that you want in general, but you're going to have to look at your applique. So if both lines are sitting on top of each other, it really doesn't matter. This one, I have one line that's slightly further outside than the other one, which is the first piece. So that's the one we're going to choose. We're going to grab the first piece of both of them, holding the control key down, click your select patterns icon, copy that. So Control C, Control V for paste. There it is. That should automatically be selected. So then you can convert that one to blocks. Right now it says stitches, stitches. When I hit convert to block, it's going to give you the sensitivity. We're going to say okay. Now when you select that piece, you'll see shapes, and you can simply change that to a zigzag stitch and choose the width that you want. So let's look at it. I would the default width for a zigzag is 2 millimeters. The smallest I would make one for an applique is 2.5 millimeters because that gives it enough room to cover it. Okay. Just keep that in mind. All right, guys, next question. So I see that you're wanting to know about power packs and what come come in them. Hold on. I think I have a file on my computer that I can locate that I can kind of give you the lowdown on what it is. But give me a second. I have to find it. Software lineup. And I got to find that particular PowerPoint. Give me a sec. Let's find PowerPack. Okay. So PowerPack 1, this is what it does. It gives you send wirelessly to, oops, let me share. Okay, so it gives you send wirelessly to your scan and cut machine. You get emojis large and emojis regular size. You get import SVG files. You get import TrueType fonts as artwork. Save an SVG and FCM files as word collage shapes. You get to choose 2 different fonts in the word collage menu. You get convert designs to runs. You get convert to decorative fills. There are 36 different decorative fills. It gives you nap control. You get to batch send embroidery designs to your machine, both from the desktop and the cloud program. You get curved and arc drawing tools. It auto splits designs for the jumbo hoop. Okay. It also reads PHC files wirelessly from the Dream Series PR1000 to 1050, not the PHX from the Luminaire, the Stellaire, or the PR1055X. Okay. So that allows you to send to and from your machine, with the exception of Disney and fonts. Okay. Now, it adds these cloud features. You get to resize with stitch recalculation for BRF and PES designs. It sends multiple designs from the cloud. You get the auto-based function in your cloud program. You get color sort in the cloud program, changing font stitch types in your cloud program, changing the connection type for your text, displaying the stitch count. You can flip horizontal and vertical, and you can rotate by 90 degrees left and right, or by numerical. PowerPack 2 is cutting tools. So this is all about artwork, basically. Now, it's specifically designed for use with your scan and cut, but the tools are fun for creating projects with decorative fills and runs and appliques. You get an image tracer that will trace JPEGs, PNGs to create artwork that you can create designs from. You got the freehand pen tool and the Bezier drawing tool. If you skipped PowerPack 1, you get send to scan and cut wirelessly. If you skipped PowerPack 1, you get import TrueType fonts as artwork. If you skipped PowerPack 1, you get import SVG plus the ability to import DXF, Adobe Illustrator, enhanced metafiles, and Windows metafiles. You get to use word collage in artwork mode, which is really cool. You get your text tools that can work with artwork mode. So except for the monogram tool. There are 2 specially created monogram fonts that work in artwork mode, Rounded Modern and Diamond Modern. You get all of your arrange tools that you can use everything that you can use for embroidery in arranging with artwork. You get to create rhinestone designs in here for your embroidery. You get to break apart and combine artwork portions. So you saw me when I did the shamrock quilting design. I combined that artwork. So that's a really big deal. Artwork transformation tools. You get weld, divide, remove overlaps, minus the front. You can read there, boundary clip, crop, and knockout. Create offsets and trapping for layered HTV. I'm trying to remember what I said here. You get layering alignment tools, and you can separate the layers and save them all at once for your scan and cut machine. And you get to see your cutting mats. All of the popular brands are there. And you can create up to 6-foot vinyl designs. However, you must run that through Canvas Workspace in order for the machine to read it. Power Pack 3 is all about templates. These are preset templates that are customizable. So it gives you, you can change size, color, you can substitute elements. You get a wide variety of template categories. You can use all of your tools after you get it out of the menu. And you can create one template for multiple people at once, kind of a name drop style. And then the wireless expansion kit allows you to add another machine, okay? So that's the only reason you would need the wireless expansion kit is if you wanted to add another machine to be able to send wirelessly to, if you don't want to move your card from machine to machine, okay? So, yes, there are updates, but it will automatically notify you when an update is available. So when you open your program, it will automatically tell you there is an update available for you. Usually, unless we find a bug somewhere, the updates are done with when we release a new Power Pack, usually. I have a feeling we have one coming soon, but it's not because of a Power Pack. There's a bug fix. So, just keep that in mind. I mean, there's a lot in the different Power Packs but those are the highlights of what I can tell you is in each Power Pack. The artwork tools I find very, 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 my two favorite Power Packs are Power Pack 1 and Power Pack 2. Power Pack 3 is very useful, and I was going to show you what I was going to do today with that, but I can do that. So I have a new baby in the family. And this is where the templates come in. This is fun. So if we go into templates, let's go into our template tool. Let's do babies. And if you look in here, these are the templates that are preset for babies. If I want to grab this one, I click OK. And let's say I want to put in the baby's information. So instead of it being Matthew Jonathan Miller, I can put in the baby's name. And it's Joe. So if you double tap that, it activates that area. So let's touch Joe. And actually, Joe's up here. Joe. Ren. Don't ask me where Ren came from. I have no idea. And what is that child's last name? Barnes. That's terrible. I'm a bad aunt. And I don't like how I wrote Ren because that's not really good. That we need to make that appropriate. So just double click to reactivate it. And he was born on the other Tuesday. So he was born February. And I have no idea how much he weighs right now. I'd have to go back and look at all the deets, but you get the idea. So that gives you those options. Now, if you want to play with your decorations, if I touch here where it says decoration 1, let's say replace. These are the different decorations that I can choose. What's in that spot? Well, those are the baby feet. That's kind of cute. I'll leave that one. So let's leave the baby feet where they, oops, I actually changed it to the airplane. So actually, oh, we'll leave that. Let's grab this one. Let's do decoration 2. Which one's decoration 2? Let's touch replace. And let's choose the shoes. So that changed those to shoes. Let's go down here and do decoration 3, which must be this airplane down at the bottom. Oops, hit the wrong button. Replace. And let's do, what have I got in there so far? Oh, let's do this, the baby onesie boy. There we go. And once you've got it done, we can obviously adjust this when we get down into the menu. We can actually choose different fonts. So if you don't like the font that's selected, when you click on that word, so Joe is the word I've selected and Moray is the font that's selected there. If I want something else, I can come in and try something else out. Ooh, I'm not sure I like that one. So let's see what Patriot looks like. You have the option of playing with it. Let's go back to Moray. Where is it? There it is. It does it real time here. Now, if you want to do this for multiple people, I got to remember how to do that. So multiples. So you see this little button here that says multiples. So if you were trying to do this for multiple people, you just add their deets in there. Just press the plus sign and add their details. If you don't want to do that, then you can click cancel. So go ahead and say okay. And your design is done. Now you can still come in here and move things around. So I didn't like where that plane was. I can move my plane. Let's say I want to make my shoes bigger. I can make my shoes bigger. If you want to duplicate an element to add it up there, we could come up here and say, let's power copy and click and put those shoes up there. So once out of that menu, you can play with it as much as you want to. Okay. You can always get BES4 because it's not going through the 5G technology. It's going through your house's wireless internet. So you're fine. All right. So don't worry about that. 5G is not going to take away the wireless internet in your house because that's what this pings on, wireless internet. So it uses your router in your house. All right, guys. Power Pack 3 is the templates. Okay. And there's quite a variety of them in there. I really like the baby ones and the wedding ones. Those are more what I end up using. But that baby one is really stinking cute, and it sews out beautifully. I will say it's one of my favorites. Okay. What else was I going to do today? Are there any other questions that I didn't answer so far? I think we did all of the power packs. And if you all want me to, I can, where can I put that? For those of you in my Lettering So Easy group, I can put that in our group. I can put those details in there as to what comes in each power pack. I'll have to take it out of the PowerPoint. So give me a little bit, but I can give you that. Now, my favorite feature in Power Pack 1 is nap control without a doubt. And I'm going to show you why. So if I come in, let's just come in and put my name in here. It doesn't really matter. We're going to do Sunday. And let's pick something besides a petite font. How about reach out's fine. There we go. If I'm doing a towel design and I want this to be I want it, the nap of the towel to stay down. This is when I really use this feature the most. When I go to my tools tab, I can say nap control. You tell it how far away you want it from the original design, whether you want to add a finishing run to it or not, and then just click OK. It automatically adds the nap control to it. So what I would tell you is I personally sew that nap control out in the same color or as close to the same color as I can of the element that I'm sewing, the item I'm sewing it onto. So if it's a navy blue towel, I get the closest to that as I can. I would go darker rather than lighter because lighter catches the light. So if you can't find that exact shade, go just a little bit further into it. Go deeper than, I'd rather see you go darker than lighter because it disappears better. Now, the other way that I use this nap control feature is to do embossed lettering. So an unthought of way that this helps is that, and there's a blog post on Brother Sews that I did for them for this, and I'm pretty sure I've shown you this in the last 2 years. But here's a circle. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab and put an initial here. We'll just put a big old H. This does best when it is in a true type font because or an artwork font. So let's change it to a true type font. And the reason I tell you that is because true type font is truly artwork that gets converted to stitches. So let's change this down here to there. That'll work. You want something bold. That's not particularly my favorite letter. So let's see if I can find something else that's a little bit. And don't worry about the error message because we're going to get rid of this. We're not actually going to sew that letter. So I'm going to align these. First of all, we're going to arrange and we're going to horizontal center, vertical center. We're good. So now we're going to take our circle. We're going to go to our tools tab and we are going to say nap control. And leave it right up against the circle. Add your finishing run. I think it looks prettier if you add a finishing run. And then simply get rid of your applique circle. So now you're left with the nap control and your H. So let's right mouse click on that H and say remove overlapped stitches. Take that overlap distance down to 0 because we are trying to dig a hole there. And now when you take your H away, you have an embossed letter. And that's fun. So I will say Power Pack 1 is probably my all-time favorite because of that, the nap control. It just made that super simple to use. Yes, it would. Now, you would have to meld them into one design page, but you could make each individual and then bring them in. So that would be an easy way to do it. And there are some sewing templates in there, I do believe. There's some label templates. So hold on. Let's go back and hit new page here. Home templates. If we go to sewing and crafts. So here are some sewing labels. And you can certainly put in whatever you want to in there. You could, once you've done it, you could actually do name drops if you wanted to. Instead of replacing this text, put your own text in there. But instead of made by, you could put made for and then put somebody else's name in there. So let's see what these are your replacement decorations for the sewing elements. So if you wanted that pretty little thing instead, there you go. So you can play with it. Now, Power Pack 2 is probably my second favorite. I didn't show decorative fills on Power Pack 1, so hold on. And I loved the fact that I got to send it directly to my scan and cut machine. I will say that as well. So Power Pack 1 decorative fills. So let's see here. If I have a circle, anything, you can convert anything to a decorative fill, but here's what a decorative fill does. Convert it to a decorative fill. I think you need a border around a decorative fill because of the way it stitches, but it gives you that capability of getting an area. This is kind of can be a faux quilting item. Okay. So if you wanted a square, let's say, let's put us a hoop on here. Hoop, select hoop. Let's say we needed an 8x8 applique, an 8x8 filled with a decorative fill. So you could choose add design and you could add yourself in a square, rectangle, whatever we want to do. Let's see here. Where's the square? There's one in here. Oh, there we go. This will work. Come in and draw that square or a rectangle, whatever it happens to be. It's drawn now, so I'm going to move it to the center. And I'm going to smush it down. Whoops, I right mouse clicked. How did I do that? Move it down, and then let's smush it. Because we really don't care about the outside edges of this one. And if you wanted to, you could square off your edges. That's fine as well. But go to your tools, say convert to decorative fill. This time, if you're just doing it as quilting and it's going to be hidden in a seam, then you don't need to worry about it. But if it's not going to be hidden in a seam, you need to worry about those edges. And you have, I think I said 32 different decorative fills that you can choose from to use as quilting designs. And you can certainly go hoop, fit hoop. And it'll fit it inside of your hoop to where it will fit perfectly. Okay, Cindy. 2CL means two color. So any of the fonts that have 2CL in front of them mean that they are two color fonts. That's really the easiest way to tell you that what that one is. And yes, Lois, being able to use that nap control to be able to emboss is just the bomb. And as I said, I know that there's a blog post with that. If you search by my name, that will find on Brother Stowe's blog, you'll find that. Oh, that's cool. That's a lot of fun, Cindy. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with those little templates. You can take them in and you could delete them out, but you wouldn't be able to use them in their native format. So it wouldn't be truly like a template. You'd have to take out all of the names and stuff, and save it as whatever format you needed it in. So not truly all of the Power Pack softwares, no. No, because they are built into this software program. Having said that, are there times that I can combine software programs and use them for other things? Yes. So if you all recall, when I did a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about creating an all over quilt design. So let's say I come up here and I import an FCM file. Let's import artwork. And let's see here. What have I got? Where is my shamrock? Evidently, I don't have my shamrock in this folder. Where did I put my shamrock? Let's go to my desktop and to my downloads. Where are my darn downloads? This PC downloads. There we go. Maybe it's in here. Bum, 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 bum. I'm just not seeing it. So I know I did one the other day. Where did I put that SVG? Nope. Y'all asked a question and I can't remember where I put the file. Let's see if I put it in any, novel concept might be the fact that it might be in FCM, but no, it's not. Let's see if I have a spot called SVG. There we go. There's my shamrock. Okay, so I used this shamrock to create an overall all over quilting design. It's artwork. So remember, Power Pack 2 gives you the being able to use everything in artwork mode. So if I wanted to do arrange, I didn't want to do arrange on a corner. Let's do arrange scatter. Notice how it scatters those all around, and you can keep applying until it scatters them as in a manner that you like. But like I've always said, if you find something in one of these submenus that you like, you better click on it because it's not going to appear again for the next 200 years. All right, I'm kind of happy with that one. I'll leave that alone and click OK. You're not locked into being after this point. You can right mouse click and ungroup them so that if you want to move them around, you can. But what I did was I came in and used my drawing tool to connect them. So you can grab the line tool, the pen tool, whatever you want. I also added a guideline at the center of the hoop. So oddly enough, that's not in the center spot, but there we go. So we're going to call that the center of my hoop. And that's where I'm going to start and end my drawing. So if I start here and I left, what in the world just happened? Evidently, I drew a line and didn't mean to. So let me come and do that again. Let's bring there we go, back down the middle. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Artwork tool. So I'm going to start it here. And right mouse click when you get to that one and then go to the next one. But this is a tool that I don't have someplace else. I have the drawing tool, but what I'm about to do with them, and you can do the curve tool, it will do a much better job. I'm just doing this fast so y'all can get the idea. And I'm just left mouse clicking to draw. And you want to connect them all. And it is pouring buckets here. And obviously, if I were doing this for real, I would make sure that I was curved and pretty, but we're not doing this for real, so we're not going to worry about it. And if you go back a couple of weeks ago, I believe that you'll see the entire episode where I did this. And we're almost done. So let's see here. A couple more clicks. If you want to add more quilting around, you can play around there. And then out. We want to go out. And right mouse click. So the key to this one would be is that you need to make sure everything, each line touches another. So on your tools tab, edit shape, and you come and take these little edit nodes and make sure that it's sitting on top of the other line. And you would go all the way around them to make sure that all of them are touching. And that will give you continuous quilting once we combine this into one line. So we're going to come in, keep that going. I wish I had combined in PE Design, but I do not. I do not have it in Canvas Workspace, but I do have it here in BES. So this is a bonus to have this to be able to work with. Now I'm about done. We're going to call this close enough. I'll leave one open so you'll understand what happens if you don't have them all closed. We'll leave at least one not closed. So let's leave this one not closed. All right. So now, zoom out. We're going to select them all. And we are going to go to the Arrange tab. Oddly enough, this is on Arrange, and we would combine them as one. Okay. So it has been combined. And then I go to my Tools tab and I say Convert to Run. And that turns it into a quilting design. But you notice right here where I left that one open. Actually, I must have more than one open because wherever you see a jump stitch, that means that area is open. And I saw another one over here. So see how there's a jump right there? That means, yep, and I can see it. So if you look right here, I did not make that one touch. So let's undo and undo one more time. Go back to your Tools tab, click on the Select tool, and then grab whatever's not touching, edit that shape, and make it touch the other line. That, once I get this one attached, it should fit it. Now, select it all. So all items, arrange, combine, and now Tools, Convert to Run. Let's look and see if we have any jump stitches. We don't. So if I were to duplicate this, and this is when you can start finessing, I might futz with that beginning and end point, but that would give me a continuous quilting. It would allow me to have a continuous quilting item. So, no, actually, when I was stitching it out, yes, it would tell me if I was too far out. So what I could do at this point is say hoop, fit to hoop, to make sure that I'm setting in the middle of the hoop. So if you look here, Cindy, let me delete this one out. So if I'm slightly outside of the hoop, I can go hoop, fit hoop, and it will automatically fit it in there to where it fits inside that the hoop's parameters. So that you do have that capability of getting it in there. And that, I mean, that combine is one of my favorite features. That and being able to break things apart to where if I just want this area to be turned into something, I can break that apart. What else do I like about Power Pack 2? Oh, let's see here. And let's change this to artwork mode. So we're going to go to artwork. I'm going to change my kerning, which is my spacing. So we're going to go down to a -2 and see what happens. I want them to overlap. I want it artwork. Let me take it back down to a -2. Let's go -3. I'm trying to make my letters touch. Okay, so let's zoom in and see what we've got. So now you see how my letters are touching. They are overlapping. And that's really what I need them to do in order. I've got one that's not. So let's see here. Let's grab the text tool again. And let's make my Y go a little bit closer. So I'm going to take that little diamond and drag it over so that my Y is overlapping. And I want my I to overlap as well. So you want them overlapping. And how do I know that they're overlapping? Do you see that little line that's showing up, the little white space? That's telling you those two are overlapping. That's your indicator. So in order for the scan and cut not to cut those as an overlapped item, because it would cut those things immediately, you first of all break up your text. So you right mouse click and say break up text. Now these are individual letters. So if I move that apart, it's going to move as one, move by itself. Nothing else goes with it. But what that now allows me to do is grab it all, go to my Arrange tab, and Weld makes it all one item. So now if I tried to click my C, notice everything is grabbed together. So now it is welded. If I combined it, it would not work. So let me undo twice here. So we are not welded right now, correct? Yes, there we go. If I combine it, it's just going to do just like it was before I broke up text. So those lines are still there. We're going to break them apart again. Oops, undo and undo. We're going to grab all items again and weld them. Weld is the key there. That makes it one unit to where it doesn't cut in individual parts. What else do I like about this? Let's say I want a layered. I'm trying to make well, I know I'm trying to make a sticker that has multicolors, and I want a shadow behind my text. There's a feature in here called offsets. I also use this with embroideries. But so offset, you tell it how far apart you want the offset to be. You can have it remove the original section or leave it as is. I'm going to leave it as is. Actually, I want to create an offset, not an outline. So create offset. You can go holes and perimeter. So if you want only the outside edges to go, you only choose the outside. If you want it to choose both the outsides and insides, you choose the holes. The spacing is how far away from the original pattern do you want that to be. So let's say I want it to be 2 millimeters and I want it to leave the original section. When I click OK, what happened there? Offset. Outside only, outer edge only. There we go. Leave as is, click OK, and that doesn't like me today. Wonder if I'm tiny text. Yeah, let's make this a little bit bigger and see what happens. There we go. So you'll notice how it put me a shadow, and it's hard to see, so let me change the color for you. We'll make it orange. And let's fill that in with color so you can see what it looks like. But this gives you that, let me move this down, move last. There we go. So that gives you the two colors that you would want. You would cut them as separate layers, but it gives you those two colors. If you want to have the alignment marks with it, on your Arrange tab again, there is this thing called layering alignment. And this is Power Pack 2. That's all I'm talking about right now. Layering alignment. You can tell it where you would like it to put those marks. How far would you like them away from your design? And how far would you like them spaced from each other? Click OK, and you'll notice it's added alignment marks and weeding squares around both sections. To save it out as an FCM file, select all layers. You could send it like it is, but it's going to be on top of each other. If you say separate layers, and you can save colors in a separate file, or you can leave them on the mat. If you think it can all fit on one mat, then go ahead and leave it all on the one mat. Go ahead and say OK. There you go. So then you've got both your color segments. They have their alignment marks so that when you weed one part apart and try to put it on top of the other, you can do that. And then you can simply send it to your scan and cut machine. So scan and cut machine, oops. If it is a wireless model and you've connected it, you can say send to scan and cut machine. You don't need to name it because you're going to go retrieve it immediately. It doesn't save anything in the cloud. So it's telling me mine failed to send, which means I probably need to log into my Scan and Cut Canvas account again. So let's see here, Scan and Cut machine. Let's log out and log back in. Now it'll make me log in. So see if I can remember my login credentials. All right, so now I can go to my Scan and Cut machine, and it's ready to go. Yes, if you have a Scan and Cut, BES4 Power Pack 2 is fantastic. It's wonderful to use with it. It has more tools than were available on Canvas Workspace. It makes things easier because you can arc your text easier. You can do spiral text. All of your text tools are available to use in artwork mode as well as stitch mode. So it gives you a lot of those options. Well, Shirley, I thought you joined us a little bit. So yes, Sandra, I showed that the same week too. I showed how to do the motifs along the line of stippling. So yes, we covered both of them, but we don't have that combine tool. And that combine tool is the bomb when you're trying to create artwork that is connected. So that's one of the things that I truly love about this. I can't tell you how much they cost because I don't know. Honestly, different dealers have different pricing based on whether they teach them or not, based on their locale. I truly don't know. I mean, one person may be operating a small business out of their garage in their house, and the other one's got a big commercial building. So everybody has different price points. I truly don't know. I know that there's an MSRP on it, but I truly don't know what that is either. We don't get that information. Yes, it is on my wish list as well. It is one thing that I love. So I get a lot of questions about why do you use the combination of both programs? Well, that combine is one of the reasons I use this program, BES, a lot. Because I could combine the artwork, turn it into an FCM file, and then take it to P Design to do whatever I wanted to with it, or simply turn it into a quilting design here. But it also, I use the small fonts in there a lot. I don't always share a lot of what I'm doing, but my husband recently invested in an airplane. So we now have an airplane. And for my Valentine's gift, I decided, I'd make him a heat transfer vinyl thing to put on a shirt with his airplane on it, right? With his tail number being cool. Oh no, we must have it in embroidery. So the tail number on this is from BES4 because in P Design, let me see if I can find my sample stitch outs here. In P Design, the numbers were not legible in the smallest size that I could make them. So you can see where I've been playing. But the small fonts in BES4, I was able to take it down. I think the recommended size of the one that I used was 4 millimeters, but I was able to take it down to 3, and it did a beautiful job. So many times when I can't find the font that I'm wanting to do, then I'll do it in I'll sit there and do it in BES4, bring it over to my PE design, import that and set it down on top where I needed it. So yes, you can bring true type fonts in certainly. So Debbie, if I come over here, somebody's going to have to take notes and tell me what I covered today because we've covered a lot of ground here. Let me change this to stitch format. So from artwork style, you won't see artwork style unless you have Power Pack 2, just so we're clear on that. Mine, I get all of them because I have everything. Let's go apply. And when you put a check mark in front of TTF, that allows you to play with your true type fonts. So TTF is your true type font. So if I come in and grab one and click apply, and you all know that all fonts are not created equally. If you look at it in 3D mode and it looks terrible, then don't stitch it. So this one gave me that warning message that it had a satin stitch that was too long. What do I do if that happens? And honestly, this one, I don't like the way it converted. So you see how those lines are there? I don't like that. So that would not be one I would use as a embroidery font. Let's try this one. All right, it's telling me I've created a segment that's too wide. So you can tell. If I look at it not in 3D mode, I see weird looking stitches right there. But if I look at it in 3D mode, those stitches are actually going to be dropped. So what you do is you come down here where it says pattern, change it from satin to something else. And that will solve your issue with the dropped font, the dropped stitches. Power Pack 3 has the template designs, and they're located under templates, Diana. Yeah, I almost did the run stitch ones, but I liked I wanted it to have a little bit more meat on its bones. So, and I couldn't get it small enough because I did not do, and this is in a 4x4. I'm going to go left chest embroidery on this one. So, I mean, he brings out, I buy him a t-shirt. Oh no, that won't do. Because I'm thinking heat transfer vinyl, t-shirt clearance. We're going to go with that one. Oh no, I want it to be embroidered. Here, put it on this vest. I'm thinking, okay, no, we're not putting heat transfer vinyl on that vest. So I guess we are going to have to create that design. So anyhow, that is what I'm doing now. You guys might want to follow Brother Sews this coming month because it is National Quilt Month, and we are going to challenge you to quilt along with us. Hopefully, they get that blog post up before the first of the, or around the first of the month for you to start quilting with us. I've created a quilt block. You guys get to join us and do with it what you want to. We hope that you will join us on that adventure. And we're going to figure out some kind of hashtag so that you all can make sure that when you post your picture and you put the hashtag on it, that it's brought into that group so we can see what everybody has done. Okay. All right, guys. So I think that's it for today. Somebody send me notes as to what I did so I don't have to watch myself for the next hour. I'll tell him to give him a shout out. He's known as Angry Mike. Traffic control out of Memphis Center. We've got friends that are in air traffic control. Actually, one of our friends retired from the Nashville main area air traffic control. So I'll tell him to say hi. All right, guys, y'all have a great rest of your week. Happy Tuesday and have fun. Margaret, we'll cover all that when we start talking about the quilt block. My day is the March 15th, unless something changes. So we're going to kick it off then and continue it through April. But I'm pretty sure you'll post it to Tag Brother Sews. You'll post it on your page and Tag Brother Sews, or you may be able to add it to ours. We'll work out those details so we can figure out how that's going to work. Because I don't think you can actually post on Brother Sews page, but you can tag them. So once we figure out what your tagline is going to be, I'll let you know. Okay. All right, guys. As always, please send in questions for next week because that's where things come from. And I will figure out what the heck is going on with that being able to emboss over the top, emboss that line into that circle. That's crazy. So yes, I did do a lot, Velvet. Today was quite a bit of information. So I'm trying to think if there's a way I can post what's in each of the power packs. There's really not a good way for me to post that. I can do it in my group. Like I said, I will do that. Also, if you do not know about that group, you must have the book, Lettering So Easy. Here's your coupon code for this week for a special Tuesday. And here is the one for the Digitizing So Easy workbook. Okay. Those are your Tuesdays specials. And at part of the BES4 book, the Lettering So Easy, is that Facebook group. I do not have one for version 11, but I do have one for the BES. It was my test group. So you guys have a great time and enjoy the rest of your week. Play with your software and send me in questions. We'll talk to you later. Bye.